Okay, we're planting beans. I'm going to show you guys how to plant beans. We have yellow Kentucky Wonder pole beans, and we have Blue Lake green pole beans. It's kind of weird because you would kind of think that these would be the yellow beans, but they're not. So what you do is you dig a trench in the ground about 1 inch and a bit deep, and I soak these beans for 12 hours overnight. They've swollen up to about twice the size that they initially were, and this is going to drastically increase germination rates. I've created a trench right underneath the trellis netting, and then what I've also done is I've made a depression across the top. So once I fill these beans in, there's a valley in the center, so when we water them, all the water is going to funnel right down onto the tops of these beans. And also when we get rain, the rain is also going to funnel right down in. So all we're going to do is literally drop these beans every couple inches, and we're just going to work our way down the line. And if we end up with beans tighter together, I'm not too concerned. They're all just going to grow up on the trellis anyways, and these beans are going to end up, these pole beans are for processing down, and we're going to can them. And the green beans, same, so the green and yellow beans we're going to can, and down there we're going to be planting green, purple, and yellow bush beans, and those are for dilly beans. So we're literally just spacing out the beans. Some are going to grow, some won't grow, and the birds might dig up some, so I don't care if there's a little extra. So realistically, they should not be spaced this close, but I'm assuming I'm going to lose some, and then what does grow we'll have lots of. And then we just cover back over with soil like that. You want about 1 inch of soil on the top of these things. And beans are pretty strong. When they shoot up, they won't have trouble pushing through, 1.5 inches of soil. Beans are hardy like that. So we're going to plant these like that. I'm just going to make a little mark in the soil so I know where I've stopped. See? And then we're just going to plant the rest of the beans down there. So we already have all of my amendments in here. So when you plant your beans, you got to make sure that your soil is fertilized when you plant your beans. That's the most important part of planting beans, is the soil needs to be fertilized at the time of planting. Okay? So we've already got this fertilized, and I'm going to come back and I will sprinkle some bone meal and some blood meal, but I can't do that today. It is so windy, it'll just get blown right down. So I'm going to finish the rest of the trench, and then we're going to move on. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the work for today. So we're putting in some yellow, green, and purple bush beans here. I've got 2 trenches for the beans. They're about 8 inches apart, and I built up the sides like that, so when I water it, the water will stay in the center. And I've taken my hands and I've used my hands like a big old screw, and I've blended the compost and the soil amendments right into there. So all we're going to do is, hang on, get my beans. Got a big old bag of beans, and we're just going to start dropping them in the trench like that. Work our way down the line, and when we're done, we're just going to cover it up, smash it with some water, and wait for them to grow.